Welcome back to episode 14. Actually, I guess you can't really say welcome back to the episode because this is your first time. Unless you listen to it again, then it's welcome back. Hi, everyone. It's the Nick and Tub podcast. Welcome back to the podcast.
Wow.
Tub's eyes
You killed that one.
No, I actually really like it.
You killed that shit.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's like, how dare you? Dude, today's episode is kind of just
all over the fucking place.
As always.
Yeah.
This one completely broke the normal format. It starts off fucking just serious.
Yeah.
Just because
It starts off serious as in like literally first few words kick it off.
Yeah, literally started off with just because, I don't know. You'll hear that part. Starts off more serious. And then we hit a hiccup. We explain it more during like when it happens, but the audio will just cut out because the power just kind of went out randomly. So we lost about, 15, 20 minutes worth of conversation, had to hop back into it. So at some point when you hear it cut out, that's not your headphones.
You'll know.
And then we just kind of hop back into it and
do our best to deal with the hurdles we're thrown.
Yeah.
We like this fucking gnat that's been flying in between us the entire
which you'll hear about
episode.
Too. He's part of the episode too. Episode 14, the gnat. So, I mean, after that, we pull it back pretty well.
We do
after we get over the hiccup. And then we just get into much lighter conversation, much funnier conversation.
It was heavier shit. And so we literally we're like, okay,
it's done.
Sounds like that's done. Let's find something fucking better. And
it was fucking funny at the end. It was a good time at the end. So, without further ado, this is episode 14 and we are going to start it now. There is a large portion of this world that fucking sucks. And that's exactly how I want to start it. Because I'm just fucking angry at the fucking... There's just so many people that fucking suck, dude. There are just so many. I was actually talking to my brother about it, that there's like a small niche of people who my heart is beating out of my fucking chest. Like I'm that upset about this shit. I'll get into the thing that I want to talk about in a little. Why don't you start with...
Sure. So yeah. I saw a tweet on Twitter that I feel like it brought up a conversation that's a new conversation, but it stemmed from old Twitter topics that people bitch about all the time. And it's not just Twitter, it's social media in general. But basically, one of the biggest, I would say 21st century frontiers for our new generation is breaking gender roles. That's one of the things is there are obvious gender roles, and those come naturally, I believe. But there are also societal ones that cause people to feel like they have to act a certain way, or else it's considered like gay, or considered too guyish, too girlish, whatever, what have you. And there are regular nature ones, which I won't really dive into because those I feel like will come up naturally in another conversation. But a lot of the societal ones have to do with fashion, have to do with comfortability around people of your own gender, so forth and whatnot. And one of the main, I'd say more radical pushes is to get men into makeup. And if anyone follows me on Twitter and saw the tweet, then they know where I'm going with it. But there was a tweet I came across where this company called Warpaint was advertising makeup for men, and it essentially just looked like foundation. It just looked like something to cover up blotches, dark circles, and acne scars, and whatever you want to hide.
Make your face look more
smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it had some gritty music, and this dude covered in tattoos, putting some makeup on. It's in a black and white video. The original tweet's actually deleted now, but basically it was this, it was one of the first strong men makeup companies that I was ever exposed to over the internet so far. And I come across these people, thousands of people, bashing the fuck out of this company. And they seem to be bashing it because they're trying to make makeup like hyper masculine or like super manly. And I get into this position where I'm like, what do you want here? Because I'm essentially leaving this as like a note to the Twitter mob is, why aren't you happy? Why do you have to sit here and complain that men have like too much of a toxic masculinity? They're too scared to try things that are more gender neutral or more feminine. They don't want to break out of it. They shame other men for doing things that are out of the norm. And then when something like this company comes out and puts out this like manly advertisement for makeup for men, all you do is bash it because it's trying to be manly. And so it's like, even if it's not gender neutral or it's not, feminine makeup, it should be applauded because it's supposed to be a step in the right direction if you believe that you're trying to, if you believe in knocking down a lot of societal norms. And yet people are bashing the fuck out of it for any way that they can find. You want it to be manly. And someone was even complaining that they used the word war paint and it wasn't a company with indigenous people and so much shit like that. And so I'm frustrated with it because it's just like, I totally actually support the idea of the company. I think it's kind of cool to like add that male twist because there are companies that totally play a role in the feminine side of the spectrum, that they like put as much feminine qualities into their products as possible to attract the female crowd. And I don't see the problem with doing the exact same, but to try to attract the opposite demographic. And so people were bashing the fuck out of this company for it. They ended up deleting the tweet and taking down the video. And then later, the founder of the company posted a video of him explaining why he started the company and blah, blah, blah. It was kind of like a lackluster scripted little speech this dude gave into a phone. But he was basically talking about how he just had insecurities with his look and with his face. And so he came up and he couldn't find anything that he was comfortable buying. So he came up with his own company called War Paint, and it's supposed to be makeup for men who are suffering from self-esteem issues when it comes to their self-image. The people in the responses are just bashing the fuck out of it. And with seemingly like unhelpful criticism, like it's just like one of the things was just this GIF of like the SpongeBob mockery picture of him with, he looks like he has a beak and he has his hands on his hips. And they just type with alternating caps and lowercase, I made war paint because I was insecure or whatever. And these tweets that are bashing the company are getting more favorites and more attention than the actual tweets of the company. And so I guess personally, and I can ask you, Nick, but like, I don't see the problem. I don't see why it's such a fucking issue that this company needs to be like, quote unquote, canceled because they're trying to put a masculine product of makeup out there.
Well, because what I had told you when you first sent that to me and you said that you wanted to talk about it on here was that I had agreed with both you and the chick who quote tweeted it, to which her quote tweet says, and it's a bunch of emojis. I'm not going to fucking name the emojis. I'll just pause where there's like pauses for dramatic effect.
Just read it.
But it just says war paint in masculine black packaging so nobody thinks you're a girl. Specifically formulated for your leather tough man skin. Also a skull ring. And it's like, look, the only thing that I was agreeing with her on was that when I watched the video, it was like way too fucking manly. Mm-hmm. Like it was just way like over the top of just like, dude, there are men of all different kinds. Like you could have just had a dude putting the makeup on, could have just been named war paint.
What was the too manly part of it too?
It was all the cuts and the grit look to it. And
so
it
like
was
the composition of the video itself?
It was a composition of the video itself with all the hard cuts and trying to make it look as cool as possible, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I understand with advertising, especially with women, that they have to make everything like as beautiful and smooth and as girly as possible, which is also not needed. That's why I look at those ads. I think the same thing. It's like, dude, there are women of all kinds. You can make a very normal ad about this and still get attention. It doesn't need to pertain to what you think women or you think what men look like. Like there's all kinds. So just try to make it more universal. Don't try to make it for men as hard and fucking grit and fucking war paint. Like, and for women, it doesn't need to be like, I'm this dainty thing. Like there's a way to make it a middle ground. And what I was agreeing with her on was that, yeah, this is fucking little bit much. It was just a little bit. With you, I agree the rest on.
Yeah, and my thing is, I don't think this, like, the whole point of advertising is the target demographic. Like, who are you trying to get to buy your product? And if you're trying to get all men to buy your product, then you would try to create the most generic, bland, general video that you could that would have some small, broad relation to all men.
The way
so my understanding of this company and their advertising and their target demographic is they're not trying to get like all men. They're trying to specifically get the guys who take pride in being masculine and are like tough and about grit and about like metal music and skull rings and shit like that. And they're trying to get those guys comfortable with the idea of it rather than just trying to do the whole generic every guy
thing. I understand that, but really, if you think about it, those guys that you're trying to convince, the guys that are fucking tough, like, and are hardcore. And for some reason, when I was watching that video, I got the fucking vibe of like, we're trying to sell to Marines. Like, that's what it kind of felt like to some extent. Sell to
the Marines?
Yes, sell to like Marine type dudes. They're not gonna fucking touch that shit. Well, no, I get that they're trying to go for it, but really, dude, like what I'm saying with the overselling it part is that it's like, if you want to target those guys, there's a different way of just like, dude, you can have, this is how I would target those kind of people. I would have a very like casual type of video and just be like, dude, I literally say this, it's not a fucking problem to wear makeup if you want to. Like, rather than this trying to make it look cool, trying to make it, relatable and make people understand that everybody can do it. Just like straight up, dude, I always think the ads are way too fucking much. If you want to sell something, like, just be like, hey, fucking here it is. What's the problem? Like the reason why people like listening to our conversations is because they're very honest. They're very fucking down. They're truthful. So it's like with these ads, like I just don't feel like it's truthful. You're going for a demographic that doesn't exist. These guys that are the tough fucking just warlord type guys that you're going
biker
for,
gang guys.
You really think a biker gang dude is gonna pick up some makeup and put it on? No, dude. And that's
I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say I don't know. I'm going to say like this is my thing.
I'm going generalization because we're going for general size groups.
Yeah, and my idea of it is like just taking a few classes in marketing, having that be like my my major for the majority of my time spent in college. There is such a deep fucking science and so much different maneuvers and theories and ways to go about marketing and target demographics, where it would be, rather than directly trying to get you to buy the product, more or less trying to get you to associate a product with an idea, and then when the product comes around again, directly involving you, you have a background idea of it, more like subconscious targeting, stuff like that.
They do that all the time.
And so with this, we're going to go with like the look at it of, there's a spectrum of men. The left, we'll just do left and right, not anything that has to do with political, but just for the sake of conversation. The left side of the spectrum in this instance is the men that are super feminine, are mistaken for gay when they're straight just because of their mannerisms and behavior. And
metrosexuals.
Well, even further than that. Yeah, just besides like the grooming and whatnot. But and then on the far right side, you have like the toughest of the tough, the masculine of the masculine, the Mr. Universe. I ate a bowl of nails for breakfast dudes.
Salty spittoon.
Yeah, literally. And then you have the majority, just like any bell curve, you have the majority in the middle.
Of course.
And so my idea of why I actually like this kind of marketing is because, yes, I do agree that it is a little bit obnoxious, but I think the idea of it is you have this majority of men sitting in between, like pretty feminine for a guy and absolutely hyper masculine.
Yeah.
And the overall atmosphere and culture of when it comes to men hanging around with men is dominance. It's trying to show who's the alpha. It's trying to outdo one another. It's trying to prove yourself amongst your rivals, basically, when you're not talking about just like your friends. And even with your friends, there's still that hierarchy that kind of people like, there's a little bit of an inner struggle for.
Right.
And so one of the biggest one of the biggest like attacks with this, and one of the biggest like methods that men use to try to nit at and get at other guys is the whole, oh, are you gay, bro? Are you doing that shit because you're gay? Or oh, you're like feminine? Oh, you acting like a girl? And because men take pride in their masculinity. There are obviously toxic ways of it being there. And, you know, everybody knows what those are. I think those are much more obvious than Twitter likes to act like they are. But that's one of the easiest ways to get a dude to like get on his heels and back up and knuckle down. It's just like, oh, no, you're taking it out of context, blah, blah, blah. And so my idea of this is, if you're going to shoot for a male makeup brand and you're going to try to get a good amount of guys to try out your product, you want to put it in the safe zone of too masculine rather than not masculine enough. If this company was trying to like break gender roles and make it as gender neutral as possible, no guy is going to go for it, because as soon as they do, the male atmosphere kicks in and you get the whole, oh, you're acting like a girl, bruh. Oh, you're gay. Oh, you're a beta male, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you have it like this, at least it's associated with the hypermasculinity, the toughness, the gritness. So then a guy who's not really associated with that level of masculinity is more comfortable trying it, because he thinks it's a step towards something more masculine rather than a step towards something more feminine. So it almost feels like he's doing something associating with a company that's considered more masculine than his normal habits are. But overall, it's a product that's totally dominated by a feminine market. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I like it it feels like a safe zone for guys who are like get affected by that kind of like ridicule, where they'll go, well, it's not makeup, it's war paint, and it's more or less just like making my skin smoother, or it covers up my dark circles. I'm not putting on mascara or lipstick or eyeshadow. I'm just like covering up like scars that I have that I don't like. And that's why I know that's why they avoided the word makeup in their name. They tried to keep it as manly as possible to help guys feel more safe with the decision of making it, without feeling like they're going to be like totally put under nonstop hell for doing something that's considered feminine.
Face paint, face paste, face paste. Like it could fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a like
but
thing. It's not like just like you have to name it for its purpose. You put a theme to it.
My coming in hot with the whole fucking like people, there's a large portion of this fucking world that sucks, is just like, this dude puts out an ad that he finds fitting. And rather than people going, hey, maybe not, or people just going like, I don't like that, people instantly start trashing you. They make fun of you. They fucking just absolutely wreck you. Because for what fucking reason, dude? Like, that's the shit that like, I'm so fucking tired of this. And it's like, I'm different in that case, because like when people come at me wrong with that kind of shit, I let it roll off my back, or I tell them to go fuck themselves, because really they're going out of their way. Their day probably fucking sucks. They're spending the majority of their day to try to find a way to bring me down. I'm using myself as an example. Yeah. And I haven't had that really happen ever in my life. I just get more like pissed off for people that it does happen.
You're watching from the outside.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude. And it makes my blood boil. That people are so goddamn bored in their own lives and not doing shit with their lives, that's all they have to do is just sit there. It's that cancel culture bullshit. Go fuck yourself, dude. Like if that's what you do throughout your day, I've literally seen tweets, people like, how can I ruin this guy? Why?
I think it comes down to where
I'm so fucking annoyed right now.
I think it comes down to where behavior is rewarded. When you create an atmosphere where tearing someone down for their first sin, their first like mistake, and it shows that you're better than them. It shows that you're above this person because they made a mistake that obviously you don't make, because how could you be criticizing someone of a mistake that you're making as well? So it's this idea of like, I want everyone to know how good of a person I am. And so I'm going to do that by stepping on the heads of other people. I'm going to do that by like showing that I am the like knight of the social world, and I'm going to go around and slay all these dragons.
Puritans.
Yeah, and they're Puritans. They're people just critically shaming everyone else's morals without a microscope on their own.
I'm just fucking annoyed with that, dude. Like, I didn't like the ad. Guess what I did? I turned the fucking app off. I went on with my day. I'm not better than other people. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's a fucking proper way to go about something that literally isn't affecting your day.
Yeah, but these people see this as like a problem that needs to be checked. They don't see it as like, oh, this is just a personal preference, a personal opinion. They see it as like, oh, this guy is pushing this idea out here that needs to be checked, or else it will continue to grow and cause society to go bad. And so people always see it as like they are literally these warriors for social justice. They're going to go out of their way and make sure that they're on the right side of history and that they're keeping shit in check, when all they're doing is basically walking up to someone with good intent who has an idea and wants to do something, having them put on a mask, say, "Can you put this on?" and then shooting them and saying, "I killed the monster."
Yeah.
It's all they're doing. And then they're over walking around with a box of masks looking for the next person, talking about their kill count.
Like, that's what kind of brings me to the point that I was going to bring up to you, where that podcast that I was kind of showing you with Andrew Scholes on Joe Rogan's podcast. He's a comedian. Mm-hmm. And it was all just like comedy shit that they were talking about. But for a short time they were talking about, and I have to like refresh on it, but basically the idea was, he said that what the world needs to get to is that everything is and isn't, not everything is or isn't.
Yeah, I like that.
Meaning, I agree with that. Like, the people that can agree that the world is an and in the middle, meaning things can both exist and not exist. Like, you know, like
it can be this good person, and bad at the same time, without being
like you can agree one. Like with abortions. Some people are for it. Some people are against it. It's not some people are for it or some people are against it. It's some people are for it. Some people are against it. That some we can coexist.
Are for and against it at the same time. Some people have their own grayscale of when it's okay, when it's not, and that's how every problem should be.
It's conflicting. It's conflicting ideals that can both exist at the same time.
Yeah,
and not this fucking. And that's what I'm tired of with this cancel culture bullshit. Yeah, like I can't get into details about the main thing that's fucking pissing me off right now because it's not personally my business.
Yeah, it's personal information.
But it's just like I know someone that's just fucking
they're at the tip of the sword of it right now.
And they're being fucking bashed to fucking smithereens for nothing, dude. Mm-hmm.
It's basically going, oh, look, they made this mistake. Let's get them for it.
And my favorite part about it is that everybody within that same realm makes that same mistake.
And they don't.
This person was just the first fucking person to say it.
Yeah, exactly. And in the long run, that's what's going to be more rewarding. That's what's going to be right in the long run above everyone else.
It's just this fucking short, small period of time where it's like, if it's 2 weeks, it's 2 very long weeks that sometimes break people, dude.
Definitely.
And that's not fucking fair. Mm-hmm. It's not. Like, if you don't, it's a fucking thing of like, if you, that thing that you're taught when you're a kid, like if you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. Mm-hmm. Like, where did that go wrong? Where did that fall off?
Because rules like that are so general that you find exceptions and you throw it out.
Hey man, you're a human fucking being. Treat other human beings with respect. That's all it fucking is.
And it's just this idea that for some reason people think that there is good and then there is evil, and their job is to go out and just fight off the evil. And when it comes down to it, that's not how it works. Everyone who is quote unquote committing evil in the world sees what they're doing, unless they're mentally deranged, as good. ISIS and all the terrorism out in the Middle East, all those people see them as doing holy work. They think that they are truly doing good to the world and they are cleansing it. They think that what they're doing, they're going to get rewarded in heaven after life for. They don't think that they're the evil. They don't think they're the bad guys, and they don't think they're going to hell for what they're doing. Yet everyone else does. And that's the entire thing that people tend to forget, is when they're on Twitter, they're on social media, and you see somebody out there. I was actually getting in a conversation about abortion with Springer about this earlier today, and we were talking, like Springer was talking about, and I'm kind of outing him, but not really. He was,
our friend Springer.
Yeah, he was talking about how he gets so like he's like, I'm as pro-choice as you can get. He's like I fucking hate kids, like totally kidding, but and he was like, but ooh,
that was a good one.
Yeah, I hit the mic pretty well there. But he was saying like, he's like, I'm as pro-choice as anyone can get, but when it comes down to it, he's like, these people are attacking the pro-lifers, and they're saying like, this is a war on women. This is them trying to implement oppression. It has nothing to do with abortion at this point. This is us going backwards in history, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you don't really think about the fact that these people think you're killing babies. They don't see it the same way you do. So if you flip it around and you watch a conservative go and shoot up an orphanage, you see that as awful. Or even one kid, they go and kill an orphan, right? You see that as one of the worst crimes you can commit. That is how they see people who are committing abortion. Literally the word committing abortion. They see it as a crime.
Yeah.
And it's not them hating on women. They're sure it probably is some people in there that take advantage of that fact and go for it.
Oh, of course.
But I'm not talking about them.
Probably, honestly, a larger percentage now with how fucking wild it's getting.
Of people going for women because of it?
Yeah. Honestly, I think. So
you're probably wondering what the fuck that noise was. And that is the noise of what happens when you get a blackout in the middle of recording a podcast and it turns the recording off.
15 minutes extra of a conversation that we had where it was just fluidly going and just gone.
Yeah, just
not gone. It just was never there.
Yeah, but just that conversation, not recorded. Basically, that glitchy sound at the end of Nick's voice was the power turning off, it turning off our software that's recording, and us not noticing because we have no way of alerting ourselves other than monitoring the software all the time.
And when you're in a conversation, you want to keep eye contact.
You have to be engaged. And so we had no idea. So we continued the conversation and covered a lot of ground and moved the conversation along. And now we kind of have to backstep and try and piece together where we were, maybe summarize and maybe hit the points a little clearer and cleaner this time since we have a second chance to do so. The last thing we were talking about was the fact that people who are getting abortions see themselves as like, doing something that's totally not bad. And then the people who are against it see their actions as awful.
Right.
And so you have to keep into account that some people see their actions as good when they're doing them and other people view them as evil. A lot of it's interpretation.
Right.
And then you were making a point, and that's when you were so rudely cut off by nature.
Yeah. Which is why I'm kind of thrown off on it, because the last thing that was mentioned in that cut was the fact that what did it say?
You said the majority of people in that take advantage of that
and are just there to attack the women. But in reality, we came to the conclusion that it's not. And I was saying that, yeah, I remember, because I said that, I was like, no, you're probably right. It is the minority. And you were like, don't let your anger get the best of you.
Yeah, I was like, don't let your emotion cloud your judgment.
Because I'm not even angry, dude. I'm just like, I'm really fucking passionate about some of this shit. And
no, you're just
to get right back into what we were talking about. It's just this whole this or that thing versus this and that, meaning it's not this or that exists. It's both exist at the same time. And that's where
it's not black and white. There's a gray scale.
That's where I was just getting fucking pissed off at the fact that
people can't see that.
You can't agree. People can't agree that fucking abortions can exist and people can dislike it and are for it. It's just this whole fucking world.
There are a lot of people that I know that are personally against abortion in the sense that they would never do it themselves, but they don't feel like they're entitled to go tell other people what to do.
Right.
And so they're like, would I get one? No. Do I think I should ban other people from being able to get one? No, because it's not my body. I'm letting them do what they want.
And I got into the whole fucking talk with you about free time.
And so this is, I want to actually set this up cleanly rather than because Nick made a claim that I disagree with. And I want you to clearly state it so I don't misrepresent it or misunderstand it. And then we'll go into each person making a point.
Well, I mean, okay, to be completely fair, it wasn't that I hadn't clearly stated it. It was the fact that you took it from a different perspective. When I said free time, you took it as a physical thing. I mean, free time in physical nature, mentally and spiritually. Like, what are you doing in your free time?
Yeah. And so your original point was like, you were like, do these people have nothing better to do with their lives? Or are they so bored that this is what they do? They go out and hate other people.
And I said people that have all this free time just find things to get bothered over, that find things to hate, that find things that they're just like, hey, I don't like that. So they go out of their fucking way because they have free time to build up a dislike and or hate to that thing. And to which your argument was that
I don't think free time is why they're hating.
And then I got more in depth with the fact that, and I still like, I'm going to hold true to this, and to which I think you ended up slowly starting to like, oh, okay, that's what you meant, was I don't mean just physical free time. I mean mental fucking free time. It's like and spending that's why, it constructively.
And that's why I was arguing that, like, so if you I'll set it up and try and get all my points out, and then I'll have you go at it. So when you say these people have nothing better to do, or are they too bored that they need to do this? I initially interpret that as actual free time, like physical free time. And so I go, okay, I don't think physical free time has anything to do with that. I think there are people with full-time jobs and kids who still find times to go out to abortion clinics and yell at the women that are walking in. I think more or less it is not really associated with physical free time. And then you were like, okay, well, there's also mental free time when it comes to like because I said, even if you're busy, you still have time to think about this stuff. So you can't be too busy to hate people, because I think you always have time to let your hatred go and find time to do shit. And so when you say, okay, what are you doing with your mental free time? That's where I agree with you, in a sense of you're always going to have, even when you're doing things in your life what you're busy at. If you have a regular 9-to-5 job, there's a lot of stuff that you do on autopilot. When you're doing that or commuting or whatever, you are sitting there with all this mental free time in your head. You're pondering, you're wondering about stuff. And I agree that if you have that mental free time, use it accordingly, use it productively and positively.
This is where I'm going to go back to you saying that there are people that have, this is where that your idea contradicts itself, that people who have 9-to-5s and kids and things to do at home still have time to go to abortion clinics.
So they can still find time to do it.
Still find time. Take away them going out, what does that leave you with?
They still have hatred.
They can still have hatred. What I'm saying though is like free time to go spread that hatred, and that's the physical sense. And then the fucking mental sense is like, rather than spending it trying to better yourself, better your life, better your kids, better everything, being positive, you're spending it being fucking negative and hating people for what? For what? And that was the point that I was getting at, is there's literally no reason for hate and there's no reason for negativity. You can have your emotions. Emotions are still healthy. Being angry at things, being mad, being upset, disagreeing, all healthy things. Hate is not, and negativity is not.
Yeah, I agree. But I still don't think my point is contradictive. I think that, okay, take away the free time to go out and do those things. I still don't think it stops them from hating other people. And when you were to state,
I didn't say it did.
And if you were to state, do you have so much free time that you need to go spread hate? Then sure, I'll agree with that. But just to hate itself, I don't think requires...
I'm just going off of your first sentence of saying that people all have busy 9-to-5 lives with kids and they still find the time. You said that. They still find the time to go out.
Yeah.
I'm saying that is free time.
Okay.
That is the physical free time that they have to go and do something.
Yeah.
Because if you take that action away, it's a blank space of time. That is now free time to grab and do with what you please.
Okay, sure. And so we'll and
that's what you were saying now, where you started like combining the ideas of mental free time and like fucking spiritual free time, what you're doing.
How common do you think is it for someone to have literally absolutely zero free time for anything in their
physical life?
Yeah.
How common?
Yeah. Because I consider like this podcast us spending our free time on it. I think that it's not what's keeping us afloat. It's not something that's making us money. It's a passion of ours that we like to work on. And so we choose to spend our free time on this. If I absolutely hated something, I could sacrifice this thing I'm spending my free time on to go do another thing that.
But that's where you're separating the two of like the whole mental and physical thing. I'm saying that you are making a conscious effort to go out and hate people. Like that ties into, that's where the whole, God damn it, now we're running in circles because that whole conversation's gone and I was leading up to such a good point. But all I'm saying is, if you are not in the good or in the right mental state, oh, Jesus Christ, I literally can't put the thought together. It was like there and then it's gone.
Yeah. And so I guess I'll continue mine until you find yours again. But I don't think it's all that common for people to be so busy that they literally have zero free time at all to do anything. And I think even those people who are, sunrise to sunset for some reason working and don't have any free time to spend on recreational or volunteer work or whatever, even those people can hate others.
Right.
And
mentally.
That's why I think that like spreading hate takes free time, but hating itself doesn't. And
but that's where I was getting at with the whole like mental, like free time.
Yeah.
Whereas you said in your normal work day, you can
have a lot of
time to ponder and think about like things in depth or just really quickly, or think about the positive parts, but you're not building a hatred in your head. That's where I'm talking about.
How can you not build a hatred in your head with that time? Like I'm not.
You can. Mm-hmm. I'm saying.
So you're saying me specifically right now?
No. I am saying, God damn, that bug is annoying me. Nope.
There's this little gnat flying in between us as we're talking.
I'm saying that you can have Jesus Christ, we're going to keep using the fucking word free time. You have a lot of time in your day to think. Everybody does. Mm-hmm. How are you spending it? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at So
I see a lot of points we're agreeing with. And so can we bring it back to what your original point is? Like your original statement about like spending your time.
People have too much free time, end up like, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm saying like what's
my original point was, do you have so much free time that you just want to spend it hating? Like that's my point, is that people in the world, on the internet, everything, it's just like, dude, you can very easily reply to something on Twitter or not.
Yeah.
In that amount of time, in that free time, are you going to spend it wisely or are you not? Are you going to spend it getting into an argument with somebody, or are you going to spend it doing something constructive? Go compliment somebody. Get off the fucking phone and go do something outside. Go get yourself food. Go make yourself food. Do anything else but start a problem. Mm-hmm. They look at it and they go, yeah, that fucking saying on Twitter, a bitch has got time today. Mm-hmm. You got time today to do what? Cause a problem? Why? Why the fuck are you spending your life literally preparing? Those are the people that I'm talking about. The ones that say a bitch has got free time today. Ooh, I had free time today. I attacked. Why? Mm-hmm. What the fuck did it do? Do you feel better? Because when it disappears, dude, how did that positively influence your life? It didn't. It didn't do a goddamn thing. Because the next day, what, are you going to walk around with your fucking chest held high because somebody that lives fucking 18 hours away from you in a car, you told them, I don't like the way you think. Mm-hmm. And you spent hours on Twitter refreshing, just waiting for their fucking response. For what? For fucking what? It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't make you a better politician. It doesn't make you better arguing. It doesn't fucking expand your brain. It does nothing. So why spend your time being a negative sack of shit when you can go and do something better with your time? That's what I mean by free time.
It's because it's feeding that emotional good feeling. It's like the devil on your shoulder type thing. It's like you get that.
And you're weak because you literally are giving into that. You're weak. I genuinely think that's a general weakness, is to just feed into something that's just feeding into the negativity. You're saying the devil on your shoulder. Uh-huh. Why? It's
the instinctual, like you see like a fight or flight type of situation and you get in that fight mode And that's what you want. You want an opponent and you want to win and you want to beat them.
For what? Do you get a medal at the end?
No, I'm not saying there's a good point.
I'm not saying that you're.
But what I'm saying is people aren't thinking about.
You're playing devil's advocate. I understand. I'm
explaining why they're doing it, and I'm saying the reason they're not sitting here going, "What's the point of this?" is because they're not thinking about a point of it. They're just literally giving into a drive. And so, like, if you were to sit down and go, "Okay, what are you gaining from this? What's the point? Is there anything constructive you're getting out of this?" They probably would say no, but that's not in their head at the moment, so they're not. So that's not affecting how they're acting.
That same like drive that they're giving into, that same like negative thing can be used as a point for me where when I'm editing a photo, if I can't get the edit right, my first fucking instinct is to pick up my phone to distract myself really quick to come back to it. I don't need to give in to that. So that's my weakness. That's where I fuck up. I don't need to get on my phone. I make excuses like, oh, I need my eyes to refresh. I don't fucking need to do that. I just need to think. I just need to think a little bit more. Maybe drag this color this way. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, and then it sparks me to go do something good. It is the same example of you don't need to respond in the way that you're going to go and fight somebody. You know it's going to start a fight. You know your response when you get into something with someone on Twitter is going to be a fight. What? Just think a little bit more. Think about how much time you're about to put into this. For what? I did it once. And I remember once on Twitter, I said something along the lines of people need to stop fucking pointing out DUI checkpoints. I was like, if they're drunk, they shouldn't be driving anyway. So they should get pulled over and get caught.
Yeah.
Why should you be afraid of it? And so somebody came back literally saying, well, some of us have family members that aren't legal here and don't want to get caught up at a DUI checkpoint. I said, then they shouldn't be driving in the first place. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand, and this is this controversial topic that I'm probably going to get into with a lot of fucking people one day in my life, if not from this. But like, all I said was, dude, it was for the drunk thing and they wanted to start a fight, right? They picked a fight. Oh, well, some of us are tweeting it out for our family members that are illegally driving. Huh? Mm-hmm. Like, huh? And I went, oh, and then at the end of it, he said, but you wouldn't fucking understand with your white privilege. Mm-hmm. And I went, hey, dude, go fuck yourself. I was like, you have no idea who I am, where I like no. It wasn't just your white privilege. It was your basically, I forget where the replies were. This was like 6 years ago. It was going back and forth, or 5 years ago. It was going back and forth for a minute. And he said, because I was white, I don't know what struggle is. That's what it was. That I have no idea what it's like to struggle. Mm-hmm. And that's where I got fucking heated. And I just wanted to find this dude's fucking address and beat the living shit out of him. Mm-hmm. Because I was just like, what? I said, don't put out DUI checkpoints. And you are saying that I don't know what struggle. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? You are a goddamn idiot. Like, those are the idiots that I'm talking about.
Yeah. And so you know exactly how these people are, exactly how they feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is, I know what that's like. I did it once and I've never done it since. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not putting in the effort to fucking argue with somebody. I'm not. It didn't, when I got done, I remember sitting there, I was working at a yogurt shop, fucking just pacing back and forth. It ruined the rest of my night and I had 3 more hours of my shift. And then I went home and I was angry. And then I was angry for 2 more days until finally I was like, oh my God, I let that and that is my reminder.
And so I think this is a good point to bring up. I think that like you get into this encounter, right? You're fucking heated and you feed into that shit and you keep replying and you let it get to you and you want to drive over there and beat his ass and blah, blah, blah. And then you realize that the outcome of your actions was just your mood getting ruined, your night getting ruined, and you being angry at basically nothing, at something behind your phone screen. The reason why I think a lot of these people, it doesn't just take one encounter for them and they realize it's a waste of time, is a lot of them get positive reinforcement from the people around them in their general sphere of like a pat on the back of, oh, like you're doing a good job. You're doing like the progressive work. And so if, let's say you had people around you who were involved in it and they were like rooting you on in each response, they were like, oh, you fucking got him. Like, hell yeah. Like you're fucking killing this dude. Like he has no comebacks. Like, oh, he's fucking done for, blah, blah, blah. It would probably incentivize you to get in another fight on Twitter again.
Right.
And you would probably see another person like talking up a storm, or someone would even DM you a tweet and they'd be like, oh, look at this piece of shit. Look at them tweeting out a DUI checkpoint again. Like, go get him like you got the last guy. And you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna get this one too. And you keep going and you get other people feeding into it. And that's what I think a lot of it is. The fact that you weren't in a mob when you did it helps you see so much clearer. But you get in that like totally airtight bubble of people around you feeding into what you want to hear, and you can paint whatever message you're arguing as, you know, God's work. And so a lot of these people, when you see them having these like trashy ass like opinions and trying to sit here and just spew hatred, they usually get a lot of favorites, a lot of people responding with these like attitude-esque gifs talking about like, oh, you fucked him up, oh, like all this shit, hyping the person up. All that does is just incentivize them to do more and more and to make it bigger and better. And so like you take them out of that, they get no attention. It's just them one-on-one. It's why no one wants to DM about it, because it doesn't make it an arena fight. Suddenly it's a one-on-one conversation.
Which is why that shit worked back in the fucking like Roman days, where they would literally all sit in a coliseum and cheer each other on to murder one another.
Mm-hmm. And
it's that same fucking mentality, just digitally.
Yeah, and so that's why these people keep doing it.
I get it. That's weakness. I genuinely think that that's a weakness of just, you're literally letting people egg you on, that you don't have enough self-control in order to just hold yourself back.
I would argue that's not that uncommon, though. I'm
not saying it's uncommon.
Well, what I'm saying is I don't think you and I are an exception to that. I think that if you were in that position and you got a ton of favorites and a ton of attention and a ton of people like egging you, like rooting you on and putting you around it, I think you would do the same.
I'm 100% going to disagree with you on that.
Really?
Because not only am I never going to put myself in that position, I would never get in that position.
No, I mean originally, in your first time doing it.
I
back
wouldn't,
before you knew better.
No,
and you had people like you had this community of people like around you, like sitting like, oh yeah, you fucked him up. Oh yeah, Nick's doing it. Nick's got this guy, like he's like the best of us and blah blah blah. And like you're pushing this point, then I think it would, and I think you would do it again.
I disagree. I really do, and that's just because like I've never.
And I think the reason I think so is because I think any human would. And so, like, what makes you different from that?
But you're saying any human. That is a large...
Okay, I think most humans would. I think most people would.
And so that's where I fall in the minority, if you want to call it a most.
What makes you, like, impervious to the
my
influence?
Own choices and my own, like, free will, and the fact that I'm very self-aware of, like, the things that I do. Mm-hmm. Dude, the second I fuck up with somebody, I literally will fix it right then and there. Mm-hmm. Like, I have that amount of control over the things that I do. I'm not going to go and listen to what my friends say. Just because everybody likes something doesn't mean I'm going to like it too. Like that's that mob mentality of just like, everybody likes this music. So that's why I don't, I'll use country music as that exact example of just like, whether that's because you guys like it or because you guys eventually heard it enough through, like parties and friends and whatnot, you enjoy like country music now, but back then you didn't.
Yeah.
I won't ever like it unless I switch it up myself. There are a few country songs I've heard where I've been like, yeah, that's pretty good. That fucking, I don't know what it's called, some cherry pie or some shit. I can't remember the fucking name of it.
No, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
But he does a song with people are probably gonna be like, yeah, what's this song? He does a song with Justin Timberlake. They sang together.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay. I'm not familiar with
that artist.
The song.
Has one or two songs where I've been like, dude, those are fucking good. Yeah. So I know when there's a good song, but I know what I like and what I don't like. And what I don't like is this whole like mob following the mob mentality. Like if I was in a fight with somebody, right? And I know this for a fact, if there were people cheering me around to beat the dude's ass after he's already been on the ground, he's on the ground. I'm not going to keep going. That's how I think.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying is
I agree. I think again, most people would know to stop.
I agree with you that the large fucking percentage of the world is controlled by mob mentality. You see it all over Twitter.
And I'm not saying that that like everyone is currently. I'm just saying that I think a lot of people think they're impervious to influence around from others, especially those who they hold closest to them in situations.
Impervious meaning
like immune.
And so you
I think a lot of people think they're immune to influence of the people closest around them when it comes to certain situations.
Right.
And I think that they aren't as immune as they think they are.
Well, that's where I'll go on that topic of like, yeah, there are some times where like I'll come across something where it's like, okay, for example, the Sonic movie, right? How it came out, everyone's fucking trashing the way it looks.
Yeah.
My very first reaction was, yeah, I don't really like it, but I'll still watch it. And then people kept fucking trashing it and trashing it until finally they changed it. To which I was like, cool, they're changing it. That was my first thought. And then one of my brothers texts me and he's like, I fucking hate the way this world works. It's all these people just, again, with the cancel culture. It's the, we don't like it, change it. And finally it fucking worked. You know, they're changing a whole movie. And to which my first reaction was, I'm glad they're changing it. I didn't like the way he looked, not from everybody else's influence at all. But when my brother had mentioned that it's bullshit that the world got those people to change it, it made me feel bad. It made me feel bad that I was happy that they changed it until I took a step back and I was like, well, no, I was just happy with them changing it because I personally was not a fan of it. But I just felt bad for the creators that they had to go, you know, that they got trashed so much that they had to go back on it. So I understand where there's influence, where like my first take on something once I read it is like, yeah, that's the exact situation. Like if my brother really likes a song, one of my closest like relatives to me likes a song and I don't like it, there are times where I have, yes, definitely like, okay, I'll give it more of a chance because I trust their judgment on it.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to something where I'm just like, no, dude, no, that's not changing for me at all, then I'm not going to change. If people are egging me on being like, oh, dude, you're really cornering this guy on Twitter, you're really fucking telling him how it is. Well, first of all, again, I can't even imagine how that situation would play out because I don't ever see myself getting there. But I almost start to feel bad because then I'm just like, I have this whole gang behind me against this one person. Now I want to be on that person's side because I'm just like, oh, I feel bad for you. Like that's how my brain goes, as I start to feel bad after I don't know. The thoughts keep escaping me.
There's a lot to
the influence thing.
Yeah. I think the reason that I think we're influenced by those, like you said, who we trust their judgment, right?
To an extent.
Yeah.
I don't think on everything.
Yeah, but like on stuff that we're like, we'll say stuff that we're new to, stuff that we don't really have an experience in. It's like our first experience to it, and then the people who you trust, you go to for advice because you think that they have really good judgment, are recommending that you make a certain decision. I think that plays heavily on whether or not you make that decision. And that's like my...
If you're going to them for advice, correct?
If I think even if they put in their 2 cents, like if it's
unwarranted,
say if you're doing something and I see that you're doing it and I go, hey, I think that you should blah, 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 or I think that this is blah, 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 right? I think that you'll hear me out.
Yeah.
And I think that if you don't really have an opinion formed on it, I think that will affect how you form your opinion.
Right. Well,
and so
that's actually a perfect example when I told you that a couple people told me that we shouldn't have these long form podcasts, that it's too fucking long. And to which, yeah, you saw in one episode where that was starting to affect me. I kept staring at the time. Yeah. But we didn't change it ultimately.
Yeah. Because I didn't trust their judgment.
Correct. That's what I'm saying though, is like, yeah, I'm not impervious to it whatsoever. But it goes in my head and I have the ultimate decision on how I want my life to go. So
yeah, and
I'm gonna have these fucking 3-hour podcasts. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think, and that's all I'm getting at is because you made the point that you're like, well, that's weakness, and I don't think it's weakness. I think it's a lot of people are influenced by people close to them who they trust their judgment in a mob that has it all wrong.
I find it as weakness.
I think because the reason I don't think it's weakness is because they're sitting here. Like if you were in a mob of people who all have a certain opinion about something and you're blind to it, you have no idea. And so if you have no idea in this ultimate decision that you come down to.
You're talking about if you're blind to it.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of these people.
You were using me as like an example. I guess I would be the bad example.
Well, and so what I'm getting at is a lot of these people in this mob mentality are blind to the fact that they're in a mob mentality. Because I think anyone who realizes that they're in this, like if someone just came to this like grand conclusion that, holy shit, I've been in a mob mentality and I've been letting a mob of people make decisions for me, I think then they would go, oh shit, the common sense answer is to back out of it, is to start making myself as an individual separate from that, and start making.
Isn't that a lack of self-awareness?
It's a lack. Yeah, it's a lack of.
That's what I find. That's what I find as like weakness, is a lack of self-awareness. And so, if you can't tell that you're in a fucking mob mentality when you were literally yelling with a mob of people,
well, I'm not saying like legit like these crazy mobs out in front of abortion clinics. I just mean like on Twitter, like in social media mob mentality, the internet, where you're not in front of these people.
Okay.
I think it's not weakness. I think a lot of these people are just like victim to this entire circumstance that they're put in of like, I have selected these people around me.
We are using victim in a very, very light sense.
Yeah. No, okay. I'm not sitting here like thinking that we should
because that fucking word to me means way more.
But I know. It's a loaded word, but they have these people that they have selected around them that they view as good judgment, right? And they think that these people, if they need guidance, are good people to go to. And if all of these people that they have selected around them that help influence their opinion are all in a mob mentality, then they don't think they're in a mob. They think they're around like-minded individuals making good decisions.
Right.
And so that's why I don't see it as weakness. I see it as a lack of self-awareness, lack of critical and all that stuff. And I think that these people should be, exposed to this individuality idea and to critical thinking skills, and to help them like really break apart ideas before they just trust the people around them. I think that they need that, but I don't think that I don't think it's very common for people to get that.
That's where we're nitpicking situations though, of the whole like weakness thing versus lack of self-awareness, or the fact that they don't even know that they're involved in something. I'm talking about the people that know what they're doing, and the people that choose to do it anyway. You know that you're about to start picking a fight with somebody. That's where I find it weakness. You don't need to pick that fight. Even if like the people around them that they trust their judgment and like their closest people are saying like what you're doing is a good thing. That's what I think the majority the one thought that keeps coming to mind is that chick that left Westboro Baptist Church. You know about that? The girl that her dad is like the fucking leader of it. Mm-mm. It was on again. Fucking not literally. Guess what it was on. Guess what it was on. I think you guys know what it was on. Fuck it. It was on Joe Rogan's, and she came on and was explaining everything. How she like defected, and how she was part of it for so long, and how when she finally got out, she had to literally restart and like move away because nobody in her family talked to her anymore. A large family didn't talk to her anymore. And her dad let it. Did she talk about what led her to start she just realized one day that it was wrong after just like reading things, and she said after a lot of like digging within herself and like reading different Bible scripts and realizing how much of it was hypocritical, she got her own base knowledge and realized this is wrong. What are we doing? That is what I mean. That's fucking strength, dude. Because you're born into something. People that are born into shit, you're walking away from everything. Yeah, I agree that people that were born into stuff, like literally you were born into this shit, dude. You don't fucking know. That goes for religion. That goes for fucking people that were born into crime.
It goes for religion. It goes for crime. It goes for political views.
Dude, I was
it
like literally
cults.
born into like a broken family. So my only way of functioning for the longest time was just out of, I've explained this, of anger and everything else. You're born into it. Break the fucking mold. Break the cycle. Break it all.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think I'm 100% on the same page as you. And I think that everyone who is in those situations requires exposure to certain things in order to turn that light bulb on. And so for her, it was her exposure to hypocritical biblical scripture.
And those are the people that I'm talking about, of like that were born into shit. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the people, like, you're not born into, no one was, well, there's some people born into Twitter, but like, you're not born into Twitter. Most of these people weren't born into mob mentalities.
No, and
a lot
I don't
of these fucking fights, I know some of these people that get in these fights. I know their families.
Mm-hmm. No, I know. And I think, like, obviously, I think it doesn't even need to be like explained that the people that know better and do it anyway are the shit people.
That's the weakness I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not even touching it, is because, like, I think that's an obvious point.
And that's where I think we're running in circles.
Yeah, but the point I'm talking about is the people who haven't gotten their light bulb turned on yet. The people that haven't been exposed to something that's going to cause them to go, maybe the people that I trust near and dear to me, the very closest people to me, what if they have it wrong? What if they're wrong? And what if just because, like, they seem like they make sense, or they're the people that I've spent the majority of my time with, maybe that doesn't mean that they have a valid opinion.
And that's where I will even say that is weakness too, because, dude, you can be, somebody, I'm not even going to bring up a situation. That's not even my business at all, but you can be born into something and have self-awareness. You can just learn, like you said, okay, for example, all these people around me that I've trusted for so long, maybe they're wrong, right?
Yeah.
You can create your own self-awareness where it's just like, okay, I think this way for myself. I know for a fact that this is what I think for myself. And that the people that I've always trusted are on the same side as me, but I know that what I'm doing is for myself. Like, I'm not just doing it because of them. The whole light bulb thing that you're talking about.
Yeah. So I had a conversation similar to this at work.
Okay.
Because I was talking with Francisco, mm-hmm. and he's a year younger than me. And so I'm 21, he's 20. And we were, he's technically 21 now. Regardless, he's a year younger than me. We're young. And yet we find ourselves making wiser decisions, thinking more for ourselves.
Than fucking 60-year-olds.
And yeah, than people much older than us. And so we got into I gave the analogy that it's like everybody has like a lock over their face, a legit like keyhole lock with chains wrapped around their head. And everybody's key to unlocking it and opening themselves up to being wrong, thinking differently, questioning stuff that they never thought they'd question before. I argue that everybody's lock is different, and it takes a different exposure to something to unlock it, have the chains fall, and that light bulb go off. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of these people who are in this mob mentality have these people around them, right? That never, like, they basically, my point is that they haven't been exposed to the thing that's going to unlock their chains yet. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I don't think it's weakness when they haven't even gotten like something to help them reconsider. They're sitting there with, and they have been convinced their whole life that the people around them are right. The people
born into it.
And, I'm not saying born into it. I'm saying, because it's not like you're just like born into this mindset.
You're saying your whole life.
And so like, because the majority of your friends, or not majority, so not the people that you trust the most, like the people that you spend the most time with, those are the people that influence your decisions.
Right.
And so when you have these people around you and you've decided that their judgment is good and you don't question it any longer because you have no reason to, or because you haven't been exposed to that type of thinking yet, Those are the people that I'm talking about. So even if you're not born into it, just the people that you happen to have met at a certain age in your life and then spent years with after, as you grow and develop your mind itself, not just born into stuff.
Right.
When you're around those people, and if you haven't been exposed to critical thinking, you haven't been taught these ways of like forming correct logic and stuff, then you don't have that lock off yet.
I guess the thing that bothers me is just this whole idea of what you're explaining as like the people that you trust most. There's no way that they could steer you wrong.
I'm talking about the people who think like that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like I guess in my head like it just literally doesn't compute. Like that it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. Like that to trust people blindly, like that just doesn't make sense to me. Up until a certain age. I mean, I'm talking like
I wouldn't say blindly, but I would say that like they make points to explain themselves, and you have this ultimate bias right off the gate to agree with it. And so you may, like they may bring up something, you go, oh, I don't know about that. And they're like, well, think of it this way. And then they sit here and they explain it to you, and they pamper it and pet it out and make it look nice. And you go, oh, okay, yeah, that does make sense. I didn't think of it that way.
So when did that light bulb go off for you?
Me? It really went off for me once I graduated and I was like a year or two into college.
Uh-huh.
I started spending a lot more time by myself out there in the college campus and in between classes.
Uh-huh.
I had this like, as anyone does in that age, like this ever-growing like thirst for knowledge, for understanding more stuff around me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start like looking for answers and looking for things on my own. And as I'm doing that, I have the wonderful, miraculous tool that is the internet to help guide me in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
I start going on YouTube. I look up videos of people explaining different worldviews in a thoughtful and polite manner rather than, the whole hate, the whole like hate spewing. People just explaining, well, this is why I think this way. And I don't hate other people because of it. This is just me personally. And you can consider having this viewpoint. You can consider picking it apart, blah, blah, blah. And as I'm like taught not what to think, but how to think, I then get that light bulb turned on. And I go, oh, shit. I realized that I've been going along with what to think. And I haven't been going with how to think. And once that happened, then I started pointing this new tool at everything that had never been under scrutiny before, and started coming to huge new conclusions and realizing a bunch of new things and as I used this tool of critical thinking more and more and more, it became much easier to use it, much more of a habit to use it. And now whenever information is brought my way, it's the first tool I use to pick it apart. I feel like a lot of people don't have that tool yet. And
right.
So even if they don't think they're blindly accepting stuff, like, we could be buddies and we could not have this tool of critical thinking and logic and reason yet, like really fine tuned. And you can make a point and I could go, well, that doesn't make sense. What about this? Making a totally valid point. And you could use this long explanation that's riddled with fallacies, but on the surface makes a lot of sense. And it will be convincing enough for me. And although it's not blind following, it's still not proper critical thinking. And I think that happens a lot. I think the majority of people lack proper critical thinking skills. And that's why I don't see it as weakness, because they haven't been exposed to it yet. And so I think the people that should know better, and the people that, have the situation to like really think about it and they give in to that stupid, sick, twisted drive, that is weakness.
And I just feel like that's such a huge portion of at least our age group, especially with our generation. Like, you think
the majority of people have like good heads on their shoulders and know better?
Well, that's the other thing. I can't even make that kind of statement because like what I see in my daily life is such a small fucking fraction of the world.
Yeah, and
especially on Twitter.
Well, that's what we're mainly focusing on here is like social media.
To make that statement is to make some fucking huge statement.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I can say very clearly that some people fucking suck, that number ranges everywhere.
Yeah.
But saying the larger majority is 51%, I don't fucking know. But I just know that like what I see on Twitter, I'm just like, I know you have critical thinking skills. I know you can think better than this.
Because you like personally know them?
Personally know them, but you can just fucking like, you can go read their other tweets and whatnot. You can just be like, yeah, I guess I don't really know them. I don't know. But I guess my point is just there has to be some extent of just understanding, unless I guess I would consider you, me, a large group of people that we know to be smarter than most of the world. Well, because
I think even
that's
a lot
where I'm trying to give people the benefit of the doubt that you are smarter than this.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times like what we do is we see we see someone who like makes like a this gnat has been terrorizing us back and forth over and over again.
Still didn't fucking get it.
Yeah, I know. But we got to.
If you hear a large clap, that's just me smashing everything in here to get it.
But so this is the thing. I think we see people with conclusions that are sound conclusions, and we go, like, look, this person has this opinion, and this is a good opinion, and so obviously they came to this opinion because their head's on straight. And I think we give people too much credit. I think that just because someone has a bunch of good conclusions doesn't mean that they have good critical thinking skills. I think that means that they were around the right people.
Yeah, and this is all just a case per case fucking.
But I am talking in general. I think that like a lot of people in nowadays like really truly have good opinions because they grew up in a society in a day and age that learned the hard way over hundreds of years. Yeah. And now when they're born are given the right opinions on a lot of things. But just because they started off in a society and a culture that's more progressive than it's ever been and more fair and all that stuff doesn't mean that they had the right critical thinking skills to get to those conclusions had they not been put in that situation. And so that's why I think even though a lot of people may have their like good, solid worldviews, they should still form critical thinking skills and question those worldviews off the bat. And if they hold up, then keep them. Yeah. And if they don't, then toss them. But like for me, a philosophy class I took really, really helped like refine that, or just at least introduce me into the path of going down that rabbit hole and really truly learning it. Because like when you start learning about like the actual like topic that is logic, and just not just talking about people's like, oh, my personal logic, because it's not how it works. When you learn about how fallacies are made and how people can make stuff sound like it makes so much sense, and then when you dive into it using the right tool and pick it apart, you realize that, oh shit, there were errors here. There are fallacies being made that make this an invalid point and I shouldn't adopt it. Mm. When you like get that, oh God, I lost the point I was trying to make here.
We're just all over the place today.
Yeah, we are. But like with the reason I had this class and it introduced me into this is now that I have this, it helps me with all the decisions I make. And I think that that people should still question the good opinions they have, the benevolent ones. Mm-hmm. I think they still should, to help refine their skills and learn how fallacies work. And that's what I was saying. It blew my mind how easily I realized I was manipulated by false points. Right. When I realized how like well a statement that has errors in it can still be made up to sound so logical and so like, you know, revelational. When I saw that, I was like, holy fuck, how much have I been like totally unknowingly manipulated by and influenced by? And I started like picking apart everything because I'm paranoid now. Like I don't want to be wrong about anything. I don't want to just take shit at face value because society agrees on it. And everyone just raises you in the idea that, you know, like equality is good and people should be treated fair and you should, you know, do unto others as you want to do unto you. I don't want to just hear it and go, well, it makes sense, so I'm going to agree with it. I want to put it under scrutiny and then see if it holds up. And when it holds up, then I know it's good.
When do you want to talk about all that?
I'll have to sit down and really think about it.
Yeah.
Really like truly map out what I want to discuss along those topics.
Right. One of my things that ended up, and then I just want to get into something fucking lighter because it's just fucking,
like heavy shit.
Yeah. And also with like losing the 15 minutes and then we were going on a flow and it was pretty good. Anyway, one of the classes that allowed me to like look at things with literally a world view is my African American history studies class. Like Afrocentricity, at least from my understanding of it, was that like the Africans had a certain way of looking at the world, looking at it with a worldview of like how she explained it. And again, I'm going off of what I remember it being like, and I was trying to look up the definition.
So disclaimer said you could be wrong.
I know I was trying to look up the definition, but I couldn't find it. Is that also called cultural political movement who's mainly, sorry, I'm reading this themselves. I just remember it being something along the lines of like, look at things with multiple different perspectives.
Yeah. Because
what I saw it from.
It's crazy how history is told by the winners.
Yeah.
And so like you get the perspective of history as like from the good guys, but no one truly ever is the good guys.
The main thing that I picked up from it was just like, that's how I go about like everything now, of looking at things with multiple different perspectives of like, as simple as why isn't this person responding to whatever, right? Text got lost along the way.
Take into account what they're doing on their side of the screen.
That's my point, rather than, oh, you're just not responding because you don't want to respond.
Because you're just ignoring me.
Yeah. So it was just like, that was one of the defining points for me. And that was when I was in college, when I was like 19. But I think that whole like critical thinking thing started when I was, again, I had to grow up really fast, anywhere between like 10 and 12. I remember thinking like, that's like, yeah, I was still heavily influenced 100%. Like I'd say about like 98% of my life was heavily influenced by the things that I did. But I remember thinking around that time, that's when it started. It was just like, that doesn't seem right. And then it just kind of like continued from there.
Yeah.
And it was very simple thoughts. I'm talking simple, like, wait, why do I have to go to bed at this time?
Yeah, because you start questioning shit. Yeah, and that's good.
And then it just continued from there until what?
I have to pee so bad.
So go fucking pee.
I wanted to leave you on a good point where you could continue.
No, I mean, I don't really need to continue past that. I can just talk about the fact that I'm still sad and upset that we lost. We can throw that into episode 0. So once Tub gets back, I'm going to make it lighter, because after just a long time, like, we weren't arguing at one point during the 15 or 20 minutes that were lost by any means. But when you get into a serious topic where you're constantly being questioned on both sides and neither side is really agreeing, but you're not like angrily not agreeing, you're just trying to understand one another. After doing that for now an hour and a half with those 15, 20 minutes lost, it's tiring. So once he gets back, we're just going to hop into something lighter. I don't know, maybe do hypotheticals, or as I like to constantly screw up, theoreticals, because those are really fun, even though those start fights too. I can't wait for you to listen to all of that when you listen back on this episode. I was just trashing you, telling everybody how much of a piece of shit you are.
Oh, hell yeah.
Literally not even close.
Get fired up.
Nothing close to what I was talking about.
Okay, so do we want to go along the lines of
something happier?
Yeah, of a fun topic more than a deeper topic.
I'm so like, I feel drained.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was
real quick, just to
carry it on for another 30 minutes.
I was about to say, what's the timestamp at? Like, I know. Just
with that. Oh, because the break didn't really count. So 1:15.
Okay.
1:16.
Yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can we touch on?
I was even talking about, while you were gone, like hypotheticals again, but then I was like, fuck, that could start another goddamn.
That goes into deep shit all the time.
I mean, I can ask you the one question and you can give your whole answer. That question I asked before we started Alex's podcast.
What?
The whole like, would you rather have an orgasm every 10 seconds or every 10 years?
Oh, fuck yeah. No, I legit, like, that hypothetical comes off like it's so fucking comedic right off the bat, but I love it.
Let me start off with that. Wasn't a hypothetical. It was a would you rather. Have you ever read a book, the would you rather questions?
I think would you rathers are still hypotheticals.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking. Yeah, it was literally like a book.
Those fucking suck.
I read that at a Barnes and Noble when I was like 16 or 17, in that wide range.
I was either a child or it was a few years ago.
16 or 17. And And I read that then. And it has stuck with me. I don't know why, but I just like, I've been stuck on that. Like, God, imagine that fucking curse.
Okay, I got an idea on how to flip this around. I
No,
know
you got to answer that first question.
No, I'm talking right after I answer this.
Uh-huh.
So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna answer that and give a nice detailed response
Okay.
on whether or not I would rather come every 10 seconds or every 10 years. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look up a bunch of would you rathers.
I already have them up.
Good. And we're going to do speed rounds.
Okay.
Where you don't get a lot of time to elaborate on your answer. You get about,
I love this.
You get about
good.
5 seconds. We'll say 5 to 10 seconds per one. And you just have to
no explanation.
It out. And you can, if you have a couple seconds to just be like, oh, because I don't want to do that. And then and then keep going. But like you have to leave it at that. And if you, as soon as someone gets stumped, then you switch it over to the next person. Sound good?
Okay. All right.
Okay. So would I rather orgasm every 10 seconds or every 10 years? I think this is an easy one. I think it's 10 years easily because every 10 seconds would ruin it. Yeah. I would walk around with soiled pants every fucking day. And like you said, you'd be in a conversation and then you would have to do that shit and you'd think it'd be good and people would be like, first meeting you, like, what's wrong with this dude? Like, they'd be like, bless you. Like, no, I'm not I'm just actually, I have a condition.
I just came for the 1400th time today.
And so, at least with every 10 years, like you could plan some like extravagant ass event.
I just feel like, honestly, I feel like you would die.
See, like you would
like
probably,
your body's
I think
build
you'd
up.
Pass out. I don't think you'd die. Yeah. But like
that's it.
10 years, imagine like your body like builds up enough like fucking nut over that entire time. And 10 years comes and it's not like it's just a load. It's like 10 years worth.
Oh, that's
God.
not okay.
That
That's
would be
so much.
awful.
That's so
You're like,
hard.
oh my God, get the mop. But no, at least with 10 years.
That's your third bucket. Oh my God.
At least with 10 years, you can like make it an event. Like, you know, 2020 is coming up. Like, can't fucking wait.
2020.
And, so
I'm gonna go with every 10 years.
You'd plan some like huge fucking just awful raunchy orgy and then just like fucking
Jesus fucking Christ.
Lose your goddamn mind.
Okay. Would you rather always be 10 minutes late or always be 20 minutes early?
20 minutes early.
20 minutes early. Would you rather?
No, this one's just for me. Like just drill me with questions and then I'll answer as fast as I can and then we'll flip it around and then we'll go on you.
But I want to answer these too.
Oh,
you can answer after.
Okay.
Or no, you can answer first and I'll just and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
And then when you start your questions, we'll do the same thing.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, because that's cool that we agree on that. Would you rather lose all of your money and valuables or all of the pictures you have ever taken?
Money. I can get those back. All right, next one.
Money and valuables. I'm going to do that. Would you rather be able to see 10 minutes into your own future or 10 minutes into the future of anyone but yourself?
Anyone but myself.
Same. Would you rather be famous when you are alive and forgotten or when you die? Wait, sorry. Let me restart that.
Would you rather be famous when you're alive? Right?
Okay. Would you rather be famous when you are alive and forgotten when you die or unknown when you are alive but famous after you die?
Famous after.
After you die?
Yeah.
Weird.
Because I'm not famous now and I'm loving life.
I'd much rather be famous during.
I'd love to leave a legacy.
Would you rather go to jail for 4 years for something you didn't do or get away with something horrible you did but always live in the fear of being caught?
Oh, motherfucker. Put me in jail.
Yeah, I'll go to jail. Just fucking imagine, dude. Imagine. Dude,
no.
do you want to stop at all? Or
No,
do you
fucking keep
God
going.
damn it. This is so annoying because I've actually answered some of these before. Would you rather accidentally be responsible for the death of a child or accidentally be responsible for the death of 3 adults?
3 adults.
3 adults.
People fucking
Yeah,
suck.
they've already lived. Would you rather your shirts be always 2 sizes too big or 1 size too small?
Oh my God. Why is this the hardest one?
I'd much rather murder people.
3 adults. Too big.
Too big?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm going too small. Would you rather live, because I used to wear super small band t-shirts when I was in high school, and I know what that feels like. Would you rather live in the wilderness far from civilization or live on the streets of a city as a homeless person?
Far from civilization.
Yeah, same. Because what the fuck? Would you rather, oh, Jesus Christ. There's a long one. Would you rather the general public think you are a horrible person, but your family be very proud of you, or your family think you're a very horrible person, but the general public be very proud of you? So family loves you and public hates you, or vice versa?
That's hard because like
5, 4,
fucking
3, 2,
general public
1. Liking you or hating you?
liking me more than
General public liking you?
because
Same. No, that's cool.
Well,
oh, you get to choose when we stop.
Oh, fuck off.
Would you rather live? I just go on. Would you rather live your entire life in a virtual reality where all your wishes are granted, or in the real world? You wouldn't really be able to tell. I think we're all living in a simulation anyway.
So there's not a difference?
The simulation is actually happening now. You can answer?
I said there's no difference, so I don't fucking know. Both, neither.
I'm going to go with the virtual reality. Why the fuck not?
Sure.
You wouldn't never be able to tell. It's happening now. Would you rather be alone for the rest of your life or always be surrounded by annoying people?
Annoying people.
Annoying people.
I can't do it.
Would you rather never use social media sites, apps again, or never watch another movie or TV show? We can stop on this one because this one's really fucking hard. If you agree, because we have to agree when we stop.
Okay, I'll agree on this one.
Okay. Holy fuck. I'm cool with social media fucking disappearing. I don't need that shit. TV or movies. You never get to see Endgame.
Well, you said again. I mean, I saw...
No. Would you rather never use social media sites or apps again, or watch another movie? Oh, another starting from this point.
I don't know. I saw Endgame, and that's the greatest movie ever made. So
get the fuck out of here, you fucking social media addict.
Honestly, I'd probably pick social media over movies and television.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because of how elaborate I think it'll get in the future. And staying connected with people in my life. I value people over my own personal entertainment.
But you can see those people.
I'm not talking about people that I regularly see in my life. I'm talking about staying connected with the people that mean a lot to me. Where it's not, besides like just text and everything. Like I don't want to have to text them once a week and go, send me pictures of what you've been doing and shit like that.
Why not? I think that would actually start more of a conversation.
No, it would. But like the amount of people that I stay in connection with would be too much time. So I would do social media just because of how much I think that can grow. I don't think it's done where it's at, and how much I think it can, get elaborate.
I would die laughing if social media ended up dying out.
Oh, that would suck ass.
And you never got to fucking watch another TV show or movie again.
Yeah, that would suck. But YouTube, here I go.
Like that's what I relate with people on all the time is TV and movies, like and all things like that fall into that realm. Like going to the movies with your friends. Great fucking time. I can meet up with my friends.
Yeah, I'm thinking long run. I mean, right now, definitely movies and TV. But like, if like you literally get to the point where social media, you can like put on a headset and like go and interact with people.
No, we're not talking about all that crazy shit. Because
wouldn't that be considered social media?
You're talking way in the future. We don't even know what's going to be created.
So how do you know it's way in the future?
Huh?
So how do you know it's way in the future?
We're talking about shit that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm talking about stuff right now. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or movies and TV shows.
The reason I'm talking about in the future is because it's ever again.
I know. I get that. But who says that that's considered social media? What if that's virtual reality? What if we all get connected on it? That brings us back to the question of virtual reality of like... Wait, what? Go back to the virtual reality thing and the real life thing.
Imagine being... Have you seen... what's that fucking movie? Ironically,
the one that just came out where he goes into a world and all that shit happens, and then the guy, if you die in there, you die in real life, that kind of thing.
You don't die in real life, but you lose like everything. You lose like all your money.
But
it's fuck. Why can't I think of it? You put on you go into another virtual world and yeah. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. Would you or would you not? If you could put on like a suit to where you could feel stuff and a headset where you could see everything and hear and all the senses. Not all the senses. We won't even go that fucking far in the future.
Okay.
And you could go into like this virtual room where like all your friends who are online can engage and interact. Would you not consider that social media?
No.
Why?
Because it's virtual. It's literally like it's life. Virtual reality and social media, I consider those two completely different things.
Why can't social media exists in virtual reality?
It can.
Okay.
But you're conflicting the two. You're literally combining the two.
Yeah. Because it's
social media sites and apps is what the thing said. Sites and apps.
Oh, it says sites and apps.
Yeah, literally, I said that multiple times.
Okay, I forgot it.
Okay, I thought that's what you were arguing. I'm like, okay, what I'm getting at with the virtual reality thing and real life is the reason why I say that why I agree with you that they're no different, except in the virtual reality thing, you can get whatever you want, literally anything you want, whenever.
I guess if you're aware that you're in that virtual reality and you're aware that you can get whatever you want, then fuck yeah, I'd pick the virtual reality.
But the other thing that I constantly now going back on that now that I think about it, that I conflict with is like, that's where self-control would come into play, because otherwise you'd get bored.
Yeah.
Because it's just the same thing. Oh, we were talking about that. The whole cheat code thing. I
would immediately put in all the struggles of my real life and then just live out my real life.
Except the only time that I would ever like use that I can get whatever I want is when it's like a life or death situation, or it's like literally like you get to a point where you're just like, I want to commit suicide because I'm so fucking unhappy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just get rid of that, just so you can keep living, and then go back to making it struggle bus again. Because
and then wait till I refill that.
Yeah, just knowing that at any time I can snap my fingers, but I'll push myself to the limits. Same thing as working out. Same thing as like, is this what you're gonna fucking quit on, pussy?
Yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I'll drill you with them. Let's see. I'm trying to look up.
My family's already ashamed of me, so general public can love me all they want. Joking.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to find. Let's see.
Damn.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so I'm trying to find like more raunchy ones that are like harder to answer, but you don't get time to like put yourself out as a good character.
Fuck.
What?
I want to go back on that general public one.
Okay.
I'd actually much rather my family like me. I would fucking hate to know that my brothers think I'm a terrible human being.
Yeah, I would hate that too.
Versus like the general public, I don't give a fuck. Already there's people out there that don't like me. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, but that's not the general public.
We're talking general. We're not even, but it doesn't say friends. It says general public.
Yeah.
So people you don't know.
Yeah, but imagine everywhere you go, every time you have any type of encounter in real life, in line at Target, getting food and the waiter fucking hates you. Like literally everything. It would make your life miserable.
I'm looking at Tub very seriously and acting like there's a teardrop falling from my face. Yeah, but I feel like having your family hate you would make you even more miserable. Honestly, I really do. Like I'm so fucking close with a large portion of my family that.
So what would you do then? What would you like? You pick your family over.
Yeah, I pick my family.
No, I'm saying let's go with it. How would you live your life? How would you live your life?
Normally.
How?
Huh?
Would you live normally?
What I'm doing now? Just because the general public hates me, like. Oh, you're asking like how would you deal?
How would you deal with the general public hating you constantly? Like any type of passion that you want to take off, so that you can like your photography to be your wedding photography, fucking done. Because anytime that someone tries to get you to do another shoot, hate him. No.
Yeah. So that would suck.
His podcast, never listening to that because I hate him.
I would tell my family to. Yeah, I'd work for my family.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have one of them make a business and I'd just work for them for the rest of my life.
And the general public, knowing they're related to you, they'll probably associate them with you as well. I would assume that's a pretty logical conclusion to come to.
We're going way too far because like...
Well, how are we going too far? If the general public hates you, we can kind of make assumptions, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't you think if the brother of the most hated person comes out with something, that cancel culture isn't going to fucking snatch that up?
Yeah, cancel culture is going to try, but... There are people that hate Jeff Bezos. There are people that hate Elon Musk.
What I'm getting at is you're like cancel culture is going to try, but who's there to say anything otherwise?
As long as my family, the one that I'm working for, is the most loved person in the world, then we're good. I don't fucking know, dude. Because
I'm not saying like get it right or change your answer. I'm just trying to like ask you like, okay, so this situation, what do you do?
I don't know. Is I don't know an answer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's always an
Because I
answer.
literally don't know.
Yeah, and see that's the hardest thing with me because like my family is like, you know, it's your family. You know how it is. But like my whole thing is if like my entire family died tragically tomorrow, in 5 years, I would be for sure good and like living a healthy, happy life. Would I still miss the fuck out of them and have that trauma always? But what I'm getting at is like, if you lose your family, you can still live a happy, healthy life and function in society well. If you have all of the general public hating you for the rest of your existence, you have to live in seclusion.
If I made that decision that my family loves me and that the general public hates me, and then the next week all of my family dies, guess who else is going to die? Me, with a gun in my mouth. Because there's no point in living. I'm never going to be able to do anything.
That would suck. Because like, what if you outlive them?
Outlive who?
Your family.
Oh, well. Then I kill myself. And if I can't kill myself, then I change my decision. These hypotheticals,
that one's really
when you
hard.
go that far, this is not supposed to play the game that way. I hate this game now. I want to be done.
But no, like that's what makes it so hard is like you like pick the select closest people to you as the ones who love you and everyone else hates you, or the reverse. And it's like, fuck, like you want to sit there and like take into account like the amount of emotional value and everything you have with these people. But at the same time, you lose a few of them.
Yeah.
And that is your whole world fucking crumbling. Or you get into fights with them. They start disliking you over something, even if it's a small patch.
Yeah, but that's just going so far.
Well, no, it's taking into consideration the entire would you rather. Like
I can't imagine my brothers fucking hating me. Couldn't imagine it. Mm-hmm. I think I'd be absolutely fucking miserable anyway. Mm-hmm. To know that I could, like, either way, you end up miserable. To know that your whole fucking family.
Yeah, you're trying to.
Okay, if you already are in a situation where your whole family doesn't like you, it's different. But when you're with your family who loves having you around and like respects you and like just enjoys you as a person in general, to have them hate you would just fucking like switch just like that. Like my brother that I live with just comes home and he's like, get the fuck out of here. I'd be like, nah, what happened? What do you mean? I don't know if I could live with that. Because my brother is like the closest person to me. So it's like.
I think you would say it happened just like that, right?
Uh-huh.
It was just a switch. I think you would move past it pretty fast, at least on the surface, because you would see them having no real grounds to hate you. And you would see that as them being bad.
No. You don't get to. That's not part of it. Because if you get to know that's why people are hating you because you made this ultimate decision, like to snap your finger and people hate you, it's like, well, that's no longer. I don't know. This is going too far. Your would you rathers. What's up?
You say, well, isn't the point of would you rathers, if you're going to stop on it, is to elaborate on it?
Yeah, but this one is going like we're taking it so many different directions. Yeah. That one is very hard. So what would you ultimately choose?
I don't know. I think I would still pick the public.
Hating you or liking you?
I'd pick the public loving me over my own family just because and that's the thing. It goes nothing against them.
No,
it's just
I don't
like
think
thinking of the whole big picture and picking the less of two evils.
Right. I mean, it's like the whole general public, which is like 7 billion people, or your handful of like 10 to 20 people.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get that. The lesser of two evils part, it would just really fucking suck to go my whole life with my whole family hating me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got some like fucking more raunchy ones or more taboo ones.
Are we going speed round again?
Mm-hmm. But this one, I just want to.
I hope. I don't like. We're way too past it, but I hope people are pausing and thinking themselves that'd be fucking dope. Of just like, hey, asking whoever they're around, like, what would you rather do? But,
yeah, because that's fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to have other people be miserable with us. Okay, so this one, I'm just gonna speed round you with it, and then I'll go back and see if I agree with your answers. Why
don't you just say it after?
Because I want it to go this way. I literally want you to put it this. I want to put you in the electric chair.
All right, here we go.
Okay, ready? All right, so would you rather get caught having sex in public by some strangers or get caught having sex at home by your parents?
Get caught having sex at home by my parents.
Okay. Would you rather get food?
Fuck. No, it doesn't matter. Neither, but neither of those bother me. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, you fucking freak.
Okay.
Would you rather get food poisoning on a sexy date or have a severe allergic reaction on a sexy date?
Food poisoning or allergic reaction?
Yeah. 3,
allergic
2.
reaction.
Okay. Would you rather only eat bland food for your life or only have bland sex for your life? 3, 2, 1.
Bland food. Bland food.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, food makes
too
me
fucking bad.
God damn it.
Yeah, way to eat
food
tofu.
makes me happy.
Would you rather describe your first time in excruciating detail to your mother or listen as she describes hers?
Ooh, fuck.
3, 2, 1.
I would much rather explain it myself.
Would you rather have bad sex with your celebrity crush or incredible sex with someone you're not attracted to at all? 3,
the
2,
bad sex with
1.
celebrity crush. That's fine. I'll take that over all day, dude.
Would you rather hear your sibling getting hot and heavy in an accident or accidentally send them a voice note of you getting hot and heavy?
Accidentally send a voice note.
That's such a good answer.
I would much rather listen to that.
Would you rather never be able to have an orgasm or randomly have orgasms at the most inappropriate times during the day?
Oh, much rather never have them.
Would you rather have mind-blowing sex once a year or average sex whenever you wanted? 3, 2,
average
1.
sex whenever I want.
Give me quantity. I hate quality.
Once a year is fucking insane.
No, I'm not dissing you, bro. I think it's funny. Okay. Now let's go over these.
Okay. Maybe my heart hurts. Dude, the fucking
Bland food.
The fucking spikes on all of this, like I
fucking bet the audio.
The audio.
Oh, they're like,
man,
man,
so
what
funny.
happened here?
It's like in the very beginning, it's all fucking bland, and now it's just spikes all over the place.
Getting caught in public by strangers or getting caught by your parents?
Yes. Neither of those would bother me. That's why I couldn't answer.
Strangers. I'd prefer strangers.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, right.
And so,
but I mean, like, honestly, like, I don't know, like, because my dad and I ended up like opening up.
Shit!
What?
This is a quiz done by this thing called Pop Buzz, so you can click on the answers and see what everyone else answered.
Oh,
see if you're with the majority or not.
Interesting.
So, which one would you rather pick?
I guess I honestly, dude, it doesn't matter.
For me, strangers, just because like I'll never have to see him again.
If we're going back to when me and my dad weren't on the same pages as shit, then strangers.
You're like, then for sure I want him to see
dude,
that shit.
Legitimately would like talk with my dad about the people that I would have sex with.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't.
Yeah. So what are you picking right now? Parents or strangers?
We'll just go with strangers because it's the more
82%.
Yeah, of course. People
okay,
don't want to get caught by their parents.
Food poisoning or a severe allergic reaction?
What's severe?
Will Smith from Hitch.
Oh my god!
Swelling and hives and all that shit.
I just hate food poisoning in general. Throwing up and fucking diarrhea sucks. So it's
but I feel like I don't know. I think I'd pick food poisoning just because, like, at least like they can comfort you.
Are you
after
shitting your pants at the table?
I don't know.
Oh, we'll see. Is it severe food poisoning?
If I got, it just says food poisoning. And if I got food poisoning, I think I'd be able to make it to the bathroom. And the cool thing is, if the date's a good person, they get to comfort you after.
But if you're showing me the fucking Will Smith,
yeah, but it says severe allergic reaction, and that's the picture for it.
That's not what I was anticipating. So I guess I'll go with food poisoning. If my face is going to look like that, I'll be in more pain.
I'd pick food poisoning also. And the public says
you could use that in the Instagram post.
54% food poisoning, 46% allergic reaction.
That's pretty damn close.
So it's pretty close, yeah. Would you rather only eat bland food for the rest of your life or have bland sex for life?
Hi, everybody. You learned a lot about me in this answer.
Okay, so Nick picked bland food, and let's see. Oh shit! 60% of people
that's
picked
what I'm talking
bland
about.
food.
Sex addicts.
Wow!
Oh shit! I was not anticipating that at all.
That's hard for me to choose, man. I'm not sure.
Honestly, really good food is really good, but like,
and think of how often you eat versus how often you have sex. You eat 3 times a day, or you're supposed to at least. You eat every single day more than once.
Keep in mind that 4-month streak I had, my sleeping extravaganza.
No, I know you had your fun.
when I had bland sex, dude, I was fucking sad. I was like, this is the worst thing ever. So, fuck. See, no, I don't know. I'm gonna go with bland food.
I'd probably pick bland sex.
Interesting.
just because like, you know, like how often you eat food. Imagine eating tofu for the rest of your life.
Imagine never, like I
bland
consider
sex.
sex.
I still get my nut off.
I still nut though. Bland sex. Like imagine like sex, right? You really like sex, correct? I really like sex.
Human being.
So it's like, imagine one of the coolest fucking things that human beings can do together. Well, coolest, greatest, whatever the fuck. Coolest. Being bland. Like that, dude, that's a highlight. When you get to have sex, you get fucking stoked.
Yeah.
And going into it knowing it's going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
Every time.
At least you got like Pamela Henderson.
I mean, those are bland too now. But like food, you kind of go into it and you never really know. Like it could be really good. It could be really bad.
Imagine like, what's some of your favorite food?
I had the best when I explained to you about Utah's poutine. That seriously has been sitting on my mind since I've had it.
So imagine like from this point on, you picked bland food, right? And you're back in Utah and you see someone like eating that poutine and you're like, oh fuck, I want some so bad. And you go and you finally get that bite again and you don't taste a damn thing.
What are we talking? Well, because you're saying bland.
Bland.
Like, literally like no flavorless.
Yeah.
Bland. Oh. Yeah, I'm still going bland food.
Damn. Yeah, no, I can't give up food like that. Would you rather describe...
Sorry, that lets me expand a little bit on it. Because at that point, then I can go on the fucking diet that I need to for my stomach issue.
Yeah,
because nothing's going to change.
Diet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make dieting easier. That is true.
Yeah. Now I can just fucking eat a bunch of food that I know will give me nutrients that I didn't really care to eat. And I'm not missing anything.
And you're going to be so upset once your sex drive is done and you're too old to fuck and you just have to eat garbage.
No. Because then I kill myself.
Oh, there it is.
Everything ends
Nick with the cop out of suicide. Yeah, no wonder you should have no problem knowing how you die then.
Right.
Because you just knew it.
Knew it.
All right,
I wonder, because to get back to that conversation, if you haven't listened, we had a very in-depth conversation in Alex's episode, the last episode from this one, about hypotheticals, and it's the whole like, would you rather know if or when you die, or how you die, or neither, or both. So if you knew how and when, right?
Yeah.
And you jumped off a fucking building.
I thought about that. Like, does it make
Put
you
a gun
invincible?
in your mouth, stab yourself in the head with a spear.
I think it would play out like
you live, but in crippling pain.
Well, I think either that or it would play out like a fucking comedy movie where like you jump off of a building and you land in like a truck full of pillows as it's passing by. And it's just like constant freak accidents. Like it's either like you live in like fucking a coma for the rest of your life because your dumbass thought it made you invincible.
Yeah.
Like you're still alive and they just pull the plug in 10 years. Yeah. Or it plays out like some fucking movie and like you try to shoot yourself, but like, you know, like you sneeze right as you pull the trigger, completely fucking miss, and all the other bolts are duds. And like you go out of your way to go do it, but then like something happens and you love your life again. So like, like it just plays out like perfect luck.
Yeah.
So the next one. Would you rather describe your first time in excruciating detail to your mom or listen as she describes hers?
I had explained mine.
Explain yours. Yeah, I think I do the same. Would rather tell her my story, and the verdict is holy fuck, 49%, 51%.
Whoa.
49% would rather tell, 51% would rather hear.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy. That means some people had some fucked up first times, and they're like, just let me hear mom.
Just let me hear. Well, no, that or they just don't want to, like, they know how their mom would handle it.
Yeah, that's true. So would you rather have that true?
That true.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you rather have bad sex with your celebrity crush or incredible sex with someone you're not attracted to? I think this one should overwhelmingly be celebrity crush.
Should be.
Let's see. And the verdict is, it's not overwhelming. It's 56%, 44%. Wow. Like, how would you pass up that?
I've had some really good sex with somebody I wasn't that attracted to. Yeah. I'd much rather have really bad sex with someone that I'm like, oh my fucking God. I get to have sex with you? This was really bad. All right, cool.
Can you imagine like I boned Ariana Grande. I'm not going to talk about the details, but
we don't talk about that one. And then you turn around and you're like, God damn, that shit sucks so much.
That box of whack.
The That's another term I don't like for vagina.
Box?
Box.
Yeah, that shit's weird. I don't get it.
I learned that term from Tosh.0 when I used to watch it coming home from school. He said somebody left a comment, something about like, I want to tongue punch your mom's fart box. And
Yeah,
I was
fart
like,
box.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Would you rather hear your sibling getting hot and heavy or accidentally send them a voice note of you getting hot and heavy? This one has to be overwhelming, because if you would prefer to hear, bro. So, let's see. Oh my God. What? I'm so pissed.
What is it?
People are fucking awful. Have my sibling hear me is 23%. 77% would rather hear their sibling. Dude.
That's fucking odd.
That's fucking gross.
That's really... There's no exception to that. What the fuck? That's so weird.
6,600 votes.
Wow.
Dude.
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure if everybody has a sibling and they're old enough to have heard that, like, everyone has, right?
I guess.
I've fucking time and time again have I heard it. But I mean, I have 5 siblings.
Yeah, but why? Because you have to come down to the question of who suffers more here, being heard or hearing.
What I'm saying is, knowing that feeling of when you hear it is awful. Like, I don't want to fucking hear that. I don't want to imagine it. So, like, sending it, at least it could be like, ooh, my bad. Like,
yeah, it's like, bitch, sorry.
But before, like, otherwise, it's all these people like, yeah, I'd much rather sit in the living room while I hear them clap cheeks in the other room and I can hear it all.
Like, imagine just laying back going, much better.
Much better.
Totally prefer that. Oh my God, you sick fucks.
Really fucking weird.
All right. Would you rather never be able to have an orgasm or randomly orgasm at the most inappropriate times during the day?
Like, imagine being at a funeral and everyone's crying and you're just...
Okay, so how well can you hide an orgasm? Do you think personally? How well would you be able...
What is this example?
What do you mean?
What is this example?
Oh, just the picture for the question?
Yeah. Well, no. What is the example of like how fucking crazy is this orgasm? Is it one of those ones where you're just like your body fucking jolts, or is it?
I would think so. I think the orgasm depends on like how much you build up to it and everything happening.
No, it just says unexpected. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry.
So
Sorry.
the
right.
magnitude of the orgasm is totally dependent on like the situation. So I would assume that it would just be like an average nut, you know?
It just got so fucked up in my head.
Oh God.
Most inappropriate times it happens, right? So again, using a funeral as an example. So right before you go to the funeral, you check off. So the shock isn't so bad.
That's
when
smart.
It happens.
You're a fucking genius.
But you have to go... You have to go into every fucked up situation knowing that you have to jack off before.
You're like, fuck, I got an interview.
Oh God, I got this. Might as well just go beat one off. Like, oh shit.
Yeah. No, you would definitely like you're in like the fucking green room for Ellen, like oh my God. Hey, you're on in 5.
Hey, dude, they open the door like, oh God, what are you doing?
No, I honestly think I would pick inappropriate times because
what was the other option again?
Never again. You never orgasm again.
Do you get the feeling of like wanting it to happen?
Yeah, you still get pleasure.
No. Like, you know, like when you're just like, yeah, like just having an orgasm right now would be great.
Yeah. No,
so
you still get your cravings.
Still have the, fuck.
See, I would
I'm going with inappropriate.
I would pick inappropriate times.
I was just thinking, like, if that urge is gone.
Can you imagine though? Like you're on the football team, everyone's showering, and you're like, no. everyone's like, Nick's a fucking. He does it
fucking laugh that came
time.
out of me. That laugh that came out of me was just like straight mic. Oh fuck.
I'd pick an appropriate.
Just enjoying
times.
a family dinner and just fucking. Oh no.
I would definitely pick an appropriate time.
Yeah, I'll go with. Well, is it every inappropriate time or is it like once a day? I know we're changing it.
It says that. It said have orgasms at the most inappropriate times during the day.
can we make our own rules at once a day or twice?
It just says most inappropriate throughout the day. So let's say you have a whole day of not like nothing's inappropriate. So
your wife's having a baby. You're in the office. You're in the room with her.
I just don't get why you're so against babysitting. You don't understand.
Oh my god. Okay, we're done. We're done.
Can you imagine? Like,
oh no,
you're like in a street fight. It's nothing personal. See, this makes life so much funnier.
Oh my god, can we be? Let's just wrap this fucking thing up, dude.
Hold up, we got a couple more that we can wrap this thing up.
Okay.
So I would pick randomly. What would you pick?
Jesus, randomly. Wait, what?
I would pick the random orgasms and most inappropriate times.
I'm going with inappropriate times.
And here we go. Finally, the public's thinking with their dick. 69%.
That couldn't have been more perfect.
Says that's the random orgasms.
That's planned.
So yeah, no, that one.
Oh shit. That's good.
And this next one is the last one. Would you rather have mind-blowing sex once a year or average sex whenever you wanted? Hello, Nick.
I just like that it's
paging.
Because I don't know. Nick. Like I was going with average, and then it's just like, but mind-blowing, dude.
There's once a year, dog. Like,
but it's mind-blowing,
dude. Once a year.
I would think about the best sex you've ever had.
Okay.
The best sex you've ever had.
Okay.
And now think about like the most not lackluster, not bland, but just fucking average.
Yeah.
Just average. Mm-hmm. Not average to all the good times. I'm talking the general average, which is just like.
So when we say average, I'm talking average to you?
No, because average to you, if you have mind-blowing sex all the time, is mind-blowingly average. See, I'm talking average. Take your most average fucking like, yeah, dude, that was just fucking boring, but it was sex.
But boring isn't average, I would say. Because sex is still sex.
I'm talking about the world's average, and not everybody has like great fucking sex. Mm-hmm. So the world's average, it would just be or sex. Your mind-blowing sex.
I would say, you know what? I would say average sex because, excuse me.
Here we go with the positive twists.
Well, I would say average just because like if you get bored of it, you give yourself a long break, and then when you have it again, at least it's not as bad because like you grow appreciation for average sex.
No, average.
Yeah.
No, just average. It's just average.
Okay, then I'd get it whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, I'll probably just go with average still.
Yeah.
Just because like, but that mind blowing, I'd be like, all right, peace out.
Yeah, this one is 68%. So close.
Of course.
Average.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh my God, I cannot believe these weird fucking sibling
that
peepers.
Was good. I'm so glad we ended on a more like fucking happy note. Because there was one point where I was just like staring at you and I was like, I can't take anymore. I can't. I'm down for serious topics, but you know, like with every conversation we have, it's always a mixture.
Definitely.
I was like, I really hope we don't do this for 2 hours.
Oh, I found more questions.
No. We're done. We're done. So that was episode 14.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus. What? Just, is it bad?
Would you rather have your partner laugh uncontrollably every time you have sex or sob uncontrollably?
I'm going to go with laugh uncontrollably.
That's so weird.
Can I just hear the average or
this one doesn't have
a consensus. Thing. Okay. So that was episode 14. We apologize for that break in the audio. The weather, like randomly before Tub was even here, just randomly kicked out my electricity. And so I think I'm having like random spurts of just like, I don't know. It just fails randomly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, other than that, I think it was good. I'm happy with it. Yeah. Happy with it? Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. So thank you guys for listening. And also just the whole thing with the email thing again. Questions, comments, concerns. You want to leave us with something to talk about? You want to ask us what we think on something? You want to, whatever the fuck.
Give us a topic.
Give us a topic. It's at the Nick and Tub podcast at gmail.com. It's spelled out completely. the and is A-N-D, not ampersand. And our social medias are
Nick and Tub.
Nick and Tub.
Easy
NICKANDTUB on Twitter and Instagram. So you can close it out.
Testing. Now, with that being said, this was episode 14, and thank you guys for sticking through all
of it.
All 14 episodes.
all of it. Just all of it. All right. Bye.
And have a great day.
See ya.
Oh, wow.
We're going to leave that in there too because that was a failure. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, my butt's sweaty.